Hello there, and thank you for joining me today. Of all the months in the year, I have to confess that I find November the hardest to negotiate. I don't know about you, there's something about this month I find difficult. Maybe it's the shorter days and the longer nights. Maybe it's the fact that it's getting colder and we're saying goodbye to autumn and saying hello to winter. Maybe it's the fact that we're still several weeks away from Christmas and even further away from spring and the warmer weather. But there are one or two things I like about November. I like the fact that in November we remember. We even have a rhyme about it, don't we? Remember, remember the 5th of November, as we're encouraged to remember what happened at the gunpowder plot in the early 17th century. We also have a time of sombre remembrance, as we think about those who made the ultimate sacrifice in order that we might have our freedoms today. It's right and proper that we remember people in this way. But it's also a time when some people look back at the summer and they think about the warmer weather and they think about places they've been to and maybe the holidays that they've been on. Ruth and I, my wife and I, went on a rather special holiday this year. Oh yeah, it was a bit like normal in the fact that we went with some lovely people and we stayed at some nice hotels and we visited some interesting places and we ate some lovely food, and we did have times when we could relax and just chill. But this was slightly different because this was a trip to Israel on a house party, and we've never been to Israel before. And we spent a lot of time on our holiday this year remembering. We spent time in Bethlehem remembering the events of Jesus' birth. We spent time in Nazareth remembering the fact that Jesus spent most of his childhood in Nazareth, and how as an adult he was rejected by his very own people there. We went to Capernaum and we thought about where Jesus lived as an adult and conducted much of his ministry. But I suppose the two places that we enjoyed visiting the most were Lake Galilee and Jerusalem. And in both of these places, we use these are souvenirs, our remembrances of our holiday. These two communion cups that we were given, because in both places we celebrated communion with the people that we were with, remembering what happened on the night that Jesus was betrayed, on the night that he broke bread and poured the wine and told his friends about what was going to happen. We remembered those times, but we also spent a lot of time remembering other things. So on Lake Galilee, we remembered Jesus walking on the water towards the boat that the disciples were in. We remembered how he calmed the storm in an instant with just a word. We remembered the miraculous catch of fish, or more than one miraculous catch of fish on Lake Galilee. We remembered the times when he walked beside Lake Galilee, talking to people about the love that God had for them and how God wanted them to love him back. We thought about the people who taught us these things over the years. I thought back to my Sunday school days when we learnt the song, "By Blue Galilee, Jesus walked of old. By Blue Galilee, wondrous things he told." And I gave thanks for the people who taught me those stories and taught me those songs. And from an early age, how I knew about the stories of Jesus and what he had done. And the other place we celebrated communion was in a place called the Garden Tomb, which many people think is the location very close to where Jesus died on the cross and is the location where Jesus was buried and rose again. We can't be 100% certain about these things, but it was a very special time that we had in that place, and where we remembered the sacrifice that Jesus made for each one of us. The theme of remembrance is one that crops up time and time again in the Bible. In fact, I'm told that on 631 different occasions, different verses, the word remember appears. Sometimes it's God that's doing the remembering. He remembers the promises that he's made to his people and how he's going to keep those promises. And that's good to know. Sometimes it's the people of God that do remembering, but not in a very positive way. They get a bit nostalgic. Like the time when they were in the wilderness and they started to yearn for the time when they were slaves back in Egypt because they seemed to think that that was better. Of course it wasn't. But we're all tempted at times to look back at the past to when we were younger and fitter and stronger and life seemed more simple, and we're tempted to think, oh, I wish it could be like that today. I'm not sure nostalgia is all that it's cracked up to be. It certainly isn't what it used to be. Nostalgia doesn't really work because it doesn't bring us into the day, today, and into tomorrow to help us. But there are many, many occasions in the Bible where God calls his people to remember. and says, remember what I am like. Remember the things I have done. Remember that I am a God of faithfulness, a God of gentleness, a God of love, a God of peace. Remember these things because they will help you today and help you in the days to come. So remembering isn't all about nostalgia. Remembering can simply be about helping us for today and into tomorrow. And so we're called to remember. Remember God's nature. Remember God's wondrous acts. Remember the amazing things that He has done. And on our holiday in Israel, we were reminded time and time again of the amazing things that Jesus did and did for us, and how He is alive today and He wants to walk with us day by day in our lives. This is not a nostalgia trip. This wasn't a nostalgia trip. This was a time to remember what God is like, to remember what Jesus is like, and to look to the future. Some time ago, I wrote a song based on 1 Chronicles chapter 16, where David tells the people of God to remember how God remembers the promises that He's made in the past, but how they need to remember that God is faithful to see them into the future. The song is called Give Thanks to the Lord.
Known among the nations, all the wonders He has done. Sing to the Lord, all the earth. Let us speak of His salvation every day to everyone. Let the nations sing, let the people bring their praise as an offering. Glory to the Lord. Give thanks to the Lord. Give thanks for His everlasting love. Sing to the one who reigns. Let the oceans roar. Give thanks to the Lord. Give thanks for His everlasting love. Sing of His holy name. Let the forest sing out, let the heavens rejoice. Look to the Lord, He recalls for 1,000 generations every promise He has made. Great is the Lord, look up high, seeing all of His creation, how His glory is displayed. Let the nations sing, let the people bring their praise as an offering. Glory to the Lord. Give thanks to the Lord. Give thanks for His everlasting love. Sing to the one who reigns. Let the oceans roar. Give thanks to the Lord. Give thanks for His everlasting love. Sing of His holy name. Let the forest sing out. Let the heavens rejoice. Let the nations sing, let the people bring their praise as an offering. Glory to the Lord. Give thanks to the Lord. Give thanks for His everlasting love. Sing to the one who reigns. Let the oceans roar.